10th of September 1940. Dear Diary, today was horrible. This morning I was cautiously walking to school with my friend when we were rudely interrupted by a loud siren. Right at that moment I recognised that familiar alarm. It was the air raid siren. I was 1 kilometre away from my school and I decided to run for it. I arrived at school and everyone was under the Morrison shelter. The noises were horrible. Bombs were raining down in the street. The siren was still going. Children were panicking and people were screaming. It was terrifying.
Dear Diary, before yesterday it felt like it was ages ago since we had a siren, and we normally have one like every day, but I jinxed it. As soon as the thought came to my head, it started happening, the air raid. I thought to myself, oh no, I needed to go. I was near my friend's house and saw him come out his door and back in. I ran to his Anderson shelter. For 2 hours straight, there were just bombs dropping every direction. I heard shouting and screaming. I cried, hoping it wasn't my mum trying to find me. That night in the Anderson shelter, I cried myself to sleep. In the morning, I was trembling with my eyes as red as flames.
Dear Diary, today was pretty tragic because when I was walking to school, the air raid siren went off. This time I knew what to do, but the problem was that I was stuck between running home or further to school. Almost a minute had passed, but then I saw a crowd of people running into a small hidden shelter. Without hesitation, I ran into the underground shelter and managed to get the last proper seat. I submerged my head into my books, thinking about whether or not Mother and Father are alive. Oh, and by the way, Father works in the Royal Air Force. I don't know what that is, but Mother said it's very dangerous. Eventually, the siren sounded again, allowing us to leave the shelter.
New Year's Day. The Nazis celebrated this doing 5 raids. Luckily, it was a weekend and we decided to stay in the shelter for the whole day. Mum screamed and squealed every time there was a raid.
Sunday, 12th of November 1940. Dear Diary, yes, never fear, I'm still alive. Just. It feels like years and years ago when my life was perfect. None of these silly shelters in the garden and wailing sirens in the night. The sound of the air raid warning sends shivers down my spine and rattles my aching bones when the sound reaches my ears. Now I'm forever cursed to remember that dystopian noise. The Anderson shelter is a poor excuse for protection. Mother always tells me it's a godsend, but a cold, cramped and uncomfortable cage doesn't appeal all that heavenly to me. In all of this depression and destruction, my faith is starting to slip away into the cold abyss called war. Every ounce of fear, confusion and hopelessness that's associated with the current time is scarring for someone like me. Just last night, a small bomb hit our neighbouring street. There is still shattered glass in my bedroom. Well, what's left of my bedroom. For now, I sleep troubled on the sofa, restless and never peaceful. A very unhappy Julia.
Dear Diary, as I heard the sound of ice-cold death fall upon me, my mind was at war with fear and dread. I was rushed into the damp, dark Anderson shelter, dropping the only thing that makes me calm, my teddy, on the way, leaving it to sink in the wet mud. The candle was lit and the bombing began. Flames screamed and ashes yelled as I cried about the screams of the innocent. The sounds grew closer, grew louder, grew larger, and grew more frightening by the second. Sparks flew through the gaps as the ground shook in disappointment. As the wind howled louder than the rest, I was faced with a decision, if I should run or stay, always waiting for the last bomb to drop.
Please up, Mother Brown. Oh my,
Now come on everybody, and we'll tell you all a tale of Britain when she had to take up arms and fight a war.
But ours is not a boring battle story, old and stale.
That everybody's heard 500,000 times before.
Mums and dads panicking, instead of being born with ease.
So to the countryside they sent their helpless kids, who are now evacuees.
Come on, we can't play. Quickly, children, we have to get to the station.
I don't want to go and live with strangers.
It'll only be for a short time, sweetheart.
Just until the worst is over, you'll be home again before you know it.
But I'll miss you.
I'm sorry, Jane, but we must start walking now. Miss Alderman's been asking where we are.
Look, over there. Mum's crying. Elsie, Jack, our mum's crying.
Sit down, Joey.
But why is she crying? Doesn't she want us to have a holiday in the country?
Sit down!
Let's go, we need to get to the station.
Bye-bye, Mum.
Goodbye.
Bye. The evacuation process started 1st of September 1939. Parents were not forced to wave sadly as they watched their children go.
Although war had not yet been declared, 750,000 children stood in line.
Who would take them in was something nobody could know.
So off they went on bus, trains, even went on boats.
Carrying suitcases, gas masks and tags over their coats.
As they arrived at the billeting station, after their train journey, they headed to the town hall.
They had no clue of their destination.
Or whether they'd be picked for being big or small.
Holding each other tightly, huddling up together.
The thought they kept in their minds was that this wouldn't last forever.
Come on now, everybody. Line up just as if you were at home at assembly. Small as ever, front to the back.
I would like that nice girl in the blue coat, Mrs. Smiley, please.
I'm the billeting officer, Miss Frere, and I'll decide who you have.
I don't want any of those frail, skinny things. They're no use on my farm.
No boys for me, they're too rough and rowdy.
Someone who can ride a bicycle to help with deliveries on my farm. 3 quiet little boys.
Must have clean shoes, I can't stand dirty shoes.
And no nits, I'm not having nits in my room.
If we'd all please form an orderly queue, that'd be much easier.
Have you got 3 strong lads to help me out on my farm?
This is not a cattle market, Mr. Gregg.
I know I've got plenty of cows. It's cowboys I'm short of. You two, you'll do. And maybe you. Right. I bet you don't even know where milk comes from.
I do. It comes from a jug.
Oh dear. Right then, come along you 3.
Excuse me, mister. I can't. I promised our mum we'd stay together.
Right then, come along you 2.
Very well. I'm sure you'll be happy in the farm, boys, if fresh air would do you some good.
Good afternoon, Miss Smiley.
Good afternoon, Miss Frere. It's a girl for you, isn't it?
Yes, please. Rose would love to come too.
Mum, come with Elsie, please. She's the same age as me.
Would you like to come with us, Elsie Jane? Thanks for the gymnast offer, but I can't.
How about Vera? Nobody's chosen her yet. She's a lovely, kind-natured girl.
Would you like to come and share with us?
Yes, please.
But Mum, I wanted Elsie.
You'll see Elsie at school, Grace. Ready, Vera? Don't forget your gas mask.
But what about us?
Don't worry, we'll find someone.
Just keep your chin up, Jerry. Just remember what Dad said. It's always dark before dawn. Maybe we just got to keep calm and carry on.
Keep calm and carry on. You've got to keep calm and carry on. Let's try to keep calm and carry on. Keep calm and carry on. Keep calm and carry on. You've got to keep calm and carry on. Let's try to keep calm and carry on. Keep calm and carry on. When you're tired and sleeping and curled up in your bed, you hear the air raid sirens. It's filling you with dread. When your clothes have holes in, they're not the latest trend. You hear your mother saying, we'll all make do and mend. Oh! Keep calm and carry on. You've got to keep calm and carry on. Just try to keep calm and carry on. Keep calm and carry on. Keep calm and carry on. You've got to keep calm and carry on. Just try to keep calm and carry on. Keep calm and carry on. When your dad's a soldier with orders to obey, it's time to bid him farewell as he is sent away. When
Safely settled in Devon, the evacuees meet in the school ground before their school day starts to share both their experiences and their letters home. Some have been honest, some not so.
I wrote to my mother today. Do you think I should send it? I don't want to make her sad. What did you write? I have it here. Dear Mother, today we finally got to this enormous building. I didn't like it. No, I hate changes. I tried to run back to the station to come back home. Mrs. Hitchcock dragged me all the way down the hall by my ear. We were marched into the main hall and were told to be still. People came herding in to pick a child as if they were buying new clothes. I was so offended I wanted to shout. I felt like a nobody.
I'm sure she wants to know how you're feeling. I told mine that I had seen cows for the first time. I didn't know what they were.
I told mine that the food was disgusting.
Yes, it is. I wouldn't dare do that. My mum would then send me 3 parcels from our rations.
But when we were being chosen, I was told that I wasn't good enough by one lady. I didn't dare tell my mother that. I just told her about the food. Today we had a special meal. Bread with real butter, cold meat and a slab of gingerbread with cream. There were bowls of steaming hot soup. I went to bed contented, warm and full. I'm only writing the good bits.
I miss my own bed though. Mine here is lumpy.
My mother was so upset at the station I felt I needed a grave. This is what I wrote. Everything is great in my new home. It is a bit disappointing that it isn't as big and near a beach, but it's still a safe home. It's all like one big adventure and there are so many fields to walk through and rivers to jump in. I didn't tell about Frank though, he is a nuisance. He made fun of me when I told him I missed my mother and baby sister.
I have to go straight home after school to my new family. They're very strict. If I am late, I miss dinner. Wouldn't be missing much. I miss my mother's cooking. Do you think they'll mind if I do my violin practice?
You'd better hurry. Last night I felt really homesick, but I didn't want to let my mother know that I was sad. She's working so hard in the factory back in London. Dear Mother, the man is a lovely plump man and his wife is a kind old lady with wrinkly hands who sits in a rocking chair by the fire and knits pretty jumpers and hats for the sheepdogs. I think this is a bit strange. I miss you, Mother, and trust you're well.
Quick, quick, I see Mr. Thompson, the terrifying head teacher. He's coming.
I want to go home. I miss my mother, my father, my lovely teachers, and my mother's cooking. Gosh, she is ghastly.
He is really that scary. Come on, Kitty, stop crying. We must be brave.
Stop dilly-dallying and get to the schoolhouse. There is no time for idle gossip. Remember, careless talk costs lives.
No lights in the streets, 2 antics on sweets, slip fire in the air, gas mask to wear, U-boats in the sea, stand fritters for tea, a battle of wits, survive the blitz, Churchill on the wireless, love torches and swears, our country needs us, but it's not over yet.
Over all of our years at St Paul's, we've experienced many joyful memories, and it all started back in 2017, where our adventures had begun.
From the stunning stones of Stonehenge to the stench of the mummified sprats, Year 3 had brought us lots of fun, even though we couldn't wait to reach the top. Year 6. Almost as if our wish had been granted, we took our first step up the ladder. We had already moved on.
Year 4 was rather interesting. We nervously waited to find out who our new teachers would be, Miss Sims, Mr Young or Mr Robertson. Year 4 was full of overgrown rainforests, complicated Roman numerals and futuristic robots, making our time and brains overflow with new knowledge. Still waiting to make the top, we made the big jump to upper school.
Upper school. Disappointed but soon to be glad. New friends, new class, a new beginning. Now that we were older, responsibility crept up on us alongside COVID-19. As we had just got used to our new life, we were suddenly unable to leave our own homes. Something special isn't good enough of a phrase to describe remote learning.
Without much preparation, we started Year 6 young and naive, soon to grow into the people we are now. We've got sad and happy memories filling the months of Year 6.
I remember when we had 3 days of fun instead of Kilver Court.
I remember when Mr Byrne used to read us the Diamond Brothers in different accents.
I remember winning the sprint races 2 years in a row.
I remember coming into Year 6 and having to follow rules of COVID-19.
I remember giving a standing ovation to Miss Price for no reason whatsoever.
I can remember my class winning sports day twice. Our journey throughout St Paul's has been interesting, to say the least, but every one of us has enjoyed each step of the way. Yet soon we'll have no more memories to make here and have to start back at the beginning. We've waited 4 years to make the speech and now a new chapter will begin.
We will miss you, St Paul's.
Thank you for watching our show. We hope you enjoyed it.